He has no just cause to want my life. There is no forethought, no logic in his actions. This isn't just any swordsman. This is the blind nigga samurai.
What's good, nigga? What's really good?
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Hood Philosopher here. I'm back with another video, and today I got a special treat for you guys. I'm going to be jumping into the video game industry and why they have such a hard time making black characters, man. They just can't get it right. So without further ado, let's get started with this video. Alright, it is 2020, and for some reason, video game developers still cannot get making black people right in games. I remember growing up, and every young black video game player absolutely dreaded the character creation screen. Growing up, I always wanted to put myself into my favorite video game worlds, and it seemed like the developers making the game have no idea what black people look like. If you want to get a haircut in the game, it's either all black people are bald, have afro 1, 2, or 3, have ponytail dreadlocks, or have cornrows.
Alright, new game of Monster Hunter World. I'm gonna give my character a boozy fade. Let's go, baby. Okay, no boozy fade on the first page. That's alright, you know, we still got some more pages to go. Okay, no boozy fade. I mean, I'll settle for, you know, afro default 1, 2, or 3 at this point. Okay. Alright, maybe on the next page. You know, I could settle for some cornrows. That doesn't sound too bad. A dreadlock ponytail? Oh god! Oh my god! Yo, how am I supposed to make a dark-skinned player with straight hair? You can't trust a dark-skinned nigga with straight hair, man.
You would think out of all games where a large amount of black people play, like NBA 2K, would have this right. But it took 2K years to get haircuts that black people actually have, and it wasn't until 2K realized that they can make money off the haircuts in the game that they started actually giving black players actual haircuts instead of afro 1, 2, or 3. Japanese MMOs are definitely the worst offenders at this. It's pretty much got to the point where I don't even bother to make a black character on Japanese MMOs. I mean, I can at least give them a little bit of slack, because let's be real, there's not that many black people over there. If you look at DBZ, I mean, you pretty much have a clear depiction of how they think black people look. So I'm really not surprised at all. You may look at this, especially if you're not a person of color, as a silly topic, because it's like, they're just a video game character. Why does it matter what they are? It's not real. But a lot of people don't realize that representation matters. Little kids might look up to these video game characters like Marcus Phoenix or the Master Chief or Kratos, and even though these people are not real, they spark their imagination. They give them the idea that they can be something great one day. And for a lot of black kids out there, they just don't resonate with these characters as well. They don't see themselves being these extraordinary people. And we know that in our world we're limited to our physical limitations of what we can achieve. But it's that idea that you can do anything that makes us more successful adults. And sadly, a lot of black kids are not seeing themselves in popular media such as video games, were slowly growing to be one of the #1 most consumed media today. So in today's video, we're going to talk about black video game characters done right, and we're also going to talk about black video game characters done very wrong. And why is it so hard for these video game developers to get black characters right? Is it a lack of diversity in the video game companies themselves? Is it maybe a cultural thing where the software developer is located? We will jump into that and we will try to figure it out. Alright, so the first problematic black video game character I want to talk about is Coltrane from Gears of War. Coltrane is what I imagine the most stereotypical character of a black person possible that I imagine a random white guy from Iowa would come up with. Coltrane is basically if you combine Samuel L. Jackson and Terry Crews together and just up the coon level up to 1,000, and that's pretty much what Coltrane is. Coltrane doesn't really bring much to the story of Gears of War other than coming in to be a comedic relief. He's never a character that takes himself serious.
Putting it scientifically, we need to blow his brains out his ass.
His backstory was that he was a smash ball player, like the Gears of War versions of football, if you will. And it's funny that his backstory is literally the most stereotypical thing possible, that he's a black athlete turned soldier, that he's extremely talented at killing grubs in Gears of War series. But other than that, he really doesn't add anything. Back in Gears of War 3, I thought they were really going to kind of explore Cole's past and really give some depth to his character. But after the scene where he's returning to his hometown and his home football stadium, and he had the moment where he was kind of having a flashback, and at the same time he was delivering the bomb to destroy the stalk there. After he's done, he just went right back to being a fool. I thought he was going to say something profound and maybe talk about himself a little bit, but nope, he just went right back to being good old ignorant ass Coltrane.
Are you okay, Cole?
The train still got the move, baby.
Don't get me wrong, I love Coltrane. You're supposed to love Coltrane. Coltrane is the entertainment value in this world that is so messed up. Of course, all the other characters kind of have, an air of comedy about them. But my problem with Coltrane, and Coltrane wouldn't be so bad if all the other main characters didn't have such depth to them. They completely neglected Coltrane and what he could have been, and just turned him into this babbling buffoon. And for that, Gears of War, you get a big fat F on real nigga character development. Alright, so the whole Tekken fighting game series gets a big fat L for their black characters. I mean, it's like they watched a couple of episodes of Shaft and they're just like, damn man, this is what we're gonna do. And do I even really need to go into depth and explain why these characters are problematic? I mean, come on, man. Like, man, just look at these niggas, man. I really try not to get offended by Japanese media because you do have to realize that they don't have the access to black people, but also at the same time, they don't even try to include black people to really understand black culture. It's like they're just shooting in the dark. They take the most racist stereotype possible, and there's really no excuse, Japan. It's 2020. The world is a much smaller place than the internet. Do your research on black people and develop real black characters. We're tired of seeing this. When I was researching this video, it was actually kind of sad that I really didn't have many examples of black video game characters to go off of, because when you're really thinking about the games that you've played in the past that have black characters, you pretty much know all the games that you play that have had a prominent black character, and for the most part they were done good to okay to good. But there's so many minor roles out there, and it seems like so many black characters usually play into this super stereotypical role. And one of the most stereotypical video games of all time was 50 Cent Bulletproof. I mean, that is the biggest coon freaking video game I've ever seen in my life. Pretty much every single negative stereotype about black people that you can put in one video game is 50 Cent Bulletproof. Don't get me wrong, 50 Cent Bulletproof was a super fun game, but the whole premise around it is just problematic. You got 50 Cent running around killing people. This is one of the most violent games to ever be released. And it's not necessarily the damage that it does to young black kids, it's the damage that it does to young white kids. There's actually been research done on young white gamers that play video games that feature violent black protagonists, and it actually deeply reinforces the stereotypes that they have towards black people. And this can be very problematic down the line. We're talking about our future leaders, we're talking about our future co-workers, and they have this idea and these negative stereotypes built into them through the media. So not only are the movies portraying black characters in a certain way, but the video games are really driving those home as well. Don't get me wrong, I had a good old ignorant time shooting up fools and 50 Cent Bulletproof, man. Let me tell you. But if I had to put 50 Cent Bulletproof on the cool meter, you know it's way the hell up there, man. Huh. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some great original black video game characters, and all it does is prove the point that we need more. And I just want to give a round of applause for Telltale Games when they created Lee Everett. Lee Everett is hands down the best original black video game character. And the reason I say that is because him being black has nothing to do with his character. He's just a man who happens to be black. And he's a fully fleshed out character. By the end of the game, it will have you in tears. And I'm not going to spoil the game if you haven't played, but he will have you in tears by the end of the game because they took the time to flesh out a character and not use his blackness as an item, but either as just something that happens to be a part of the character. Black people aren't just walking around here acting like these stereotypes. Most black people are just like you. Like, we're just out here living life, all right? So to have a character like Lee where, you know, he's going through this journey and everybody can relate to him is awesome. And I do remember a part in the game where there was a character that was treating him a certain way, and Lee was just, you had the option to confront the character from being racist.
Hey, Lee, you know how to pick a lock, right?
No. Why would you say that?
Well, you're, you know, urban?
Oh, you are not saying what I think you're saying.
Jesus, man, I'm from Florida. Crazy shit just comes out of my mouth sometimes. Sorry.
Because let's be honest, as black people, we still deal with certain things in this country. And whenever you're dealing with a black character in a realistic environment, it is important to touch on the things that we do go through. And I really appreciate Telltale for doing a great job telling a story from, you know, his perspective, and, you know, not using Lee's race as some type of cheap device. They actually fleshed out a great character, and I really bravo Telltale Games for making Lee.
Eaten alive.
Sit down. That's it.
So another game I want to give props to for having great black characters in is kind of be a little bit of a surprise to you guys just off the general theme of this video, but Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Of course, the main character CJ, but really the whole black cast of Grand Theft Auto. And the reason why those characters aren't problematic to me is because the Grand Theft Auto games are satire. They're satire on society as a whole, and did not use the character's blackness to basically put out a negative stereotype out there. They actually did their research and they took the time to flesh out these black characters so they didn't feel cheap and were used to you know, just make fun of things in a goofy way, but it actually felt authentic. I actually felt like I had a connection with the characters in the game. CJ was very relatable to me, even though he was supposed to be this hardened street thug. That's not 100% what he was. He was a complex, hardened, multi-dimensional character, and the other supporting characters in the game that were black were really hilarious. I remember having Samuel L. Jackson being in there playing the crooked cop. Big Smoke, everybody remembers his famous order.
Can I take your order, please?
Carl, what do you want? You gotta eat to keep your strength up, man.
Hey, I'll take a number 9, fat boy.
Give me a number 9, just like his. Let me get a number 6 with extra dip.
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda.
Grand Theft Auto is definitely a game that is an example. If you're going to take something that may be a little stereotypical about black culture, if you're going to take that and put that into a video game, do it the right way. And I really feel like Grand Theft Auto did its research. It took its time to really get the lingo correct, and to have these characters feel real. and also at the same time provide, plenty of entertainment and funny moments. A lot of video games, they try to replicate blackness, and when it doesn't, and if it's not done correctly, it just comes across really bad and really falls flat. So Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, I thought was done very well. Franklin from the new Grand Theft Auto game, and his following his story arc in that game as well. I thought Grand Theft Auto did a great job with all those characters as well when it came to representing blackness, even in the frame of this satirical environment that is Grand Theft Auto. I thought Rockstar Games did a really good job. So bravo to Rockstar Games, y'all some real niggas. So another great black video game character that we have is Sergeant Johnson from the Halo series, Halo 1 through 3. And I kind of struggle a little bit with Sergeant Johnson because in a way he kind of falls the line of the stereotypical black guy. He's got the jive talking. He's definitely one of those guys that some random dude from Des Moines, Iowa would come up with the idea for Sergeant Johnson.
Dear humanity, we regret being alien bastards. We regret coming to Earth. And we most definitely regret the Corps just blew up our raggedy-ass fleet. Hoorah!
But really what Halo did with Sergeant Johnson is made him one of the core central characters and just an absolute badass in the Halo series.
Scary.
We've all run the simulations. They're tough, but they ain't invincible. Stay with the Master Chief. He'll know what to do.
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
Thanks for the tank. He never gets me anything.
Oh, I know what the ladies like.
That everybody could love. And while Johnson had a bit of stereotypicalness to his character, it never felt like it was cheap. It did feel believable at times, and being in the military, I can relate with a lot of smooth talking, hard ass black NCOs in the military, and I really think that he gave justice not only black hard ass soldiers in the military, but also soldiers from all walks of life. They can probably all point to a Sergeant Johnson in their life. Maybe not quite as badass as the real Sergeant Johnson.
If you want to keep your brain inside your head, I tell those boys to chill.
But I think Halo did a great job with Sergeant Johnson and creating a character that will live in the minds of gamers for a very long time. So for that, Bungie, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a round of applause for Sergeant Johnson. May he rest in peace.
Crazy fool. Why do you always jump? One of these days, you're gonna land on something as stubborn as you are. And I don't do bits and pieces.
Send me out with a bang.
Now there are a few other honorable mentions and definitely worthy black characters in video games that I would love to mention in the video. But just for the interest of keeping it a little short, I'll just add whatever honorable mentions I have at the end. I think the reason why it's so hard to find quality black characters in video games is because simply there's just not enough black representation in the video game industry. I'm not really familiar with any black heads of development in the video game industry. So really, when the people that make the games don't look like you, it's going to be hard for there to be quality, productivity, and characters for them to make because simply they're not represented. And a lot of times when they are created, they're not done just service because the talent is not available. The pull to be there to make these characters authentic is not there. So a lot of times these characters just don't feel right.
Buddy hooked. Motherfucker. I'll be damned if I let those coon asses destroy everything that Sammy built up. Who replaced Baca?
What are you thinking in a moment like that? When you know you're losing everything you love. What are you thinking in a moment like that, huh?
Tuka, I hope she's with the others.
tax season, so I need to go checking on W-2s. So that's all I got time for, guys. But if you like that video and you still watched it to the end, I really appreciate you guys. Please go into the comments. Tell me what you think about the video. Let me know if you like my new old intro. I went with the older intro. Let me know if you guys want me to stick with that intro or, you know, use the ones I was using recently in the past. I appreciate you guys. Please subscribe. I'm really trying to grow this channel and I really want to deliver great content for you guys, and I think I'm doing something different and unique here, combining the gaming with, you know, talking about real topics and stuff like that. And if you guys got any feedback from me, please let me know, because I'm doing this thing and I'm just starting out, and any feedback helps. And really appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys have a blessed day.
Baby, I look good, I look handsome.